Roronoa Zoro rarely talks about how he feels. He doesn't complain. He doesn't explain himself. He doesn't ask for sympathy. And yet, few characters in One Piece carry as much pain as he does. From the very beginning, Zoro chose a different kind of strength, not the kind that demands attention, but the kind that endures. Before Zoro ever met Luffy, he had already learned a hard truth. Dreams come with loss. As a child, Zoro didn't just lose a rival, he lost the person who defined his purpose. Kuina wasn't just someone he wanted to surpass. She was the reason he trained, the reason he pushed himself, the reason he believed his dream mattered. When she died, Zoro was left alone with a promise: to become the world's greatest swordsman, and to carry her dream with him. From that moment on, Zoro stopped speaking about his pain, because pain, to him, wasn't something to be shared, it was something to be carried. Zoro believes that words dilute resolve. If he talks about suffering, it becomes lighter, and if it becomes lighter, it becomes easier to abandon, so he keeps it inside. Zoro's silence isn't emotional distance, it's discipline. Every scar on his body is a reminder, every wound is a lesson, and every step forward is proof that he hasn't forgotten his promise. When Zoro joins Luffy, something important happens. For the first time since Kuina's death, Zoro chooses to follow someone, not because he's weaker, but because he recognizes a strength greater than his own. Luffy doesn't question Zoro's silence, he doesn't demand explanations, he doesn't pry. And that's exactly why Zoro stays. Zoro doesn't need to be understood, he needs to be trusted. Throughout the journey, Zoro repeatedly absorbs pain without complaint. He fights while injured, he stands when he should fall, he pushes forward when retreat would be reasonable. But the moment that defines Zoro comes when no one is watching, at Thriller Bark, when Zoro steps forward and takes on Luffy's pain. Not to prove anything, not to gain recognition, but because someone had to. Zoro never intended for anyone to know. He never wanted thanks. He never wanted credit. When asked what happened, he simply says nothing, and in that silence lies his entire character. Zoro carries pain so others don't have to. That's his role, not as a hero, but as a shield. Zoro understands something many don't, that strength isn't measured by how much you endure, but by what you're willing to endure for others. His loyalty to Luffy isn't loud, it's absolute. He doesn't follow Luffy because of destiny, he follows him because he believes in him, and belief doesn't require words. Zoro's silence also hides fear. Fear of failing his promise, fear of losing his captain, fear of falling short. But instead of voicing that fear, he trains harder, he sharpens his blade, he shoulders the weight alone. Zoro doesn't talk about his pain because he doesn't want it to define him, he wants it to fuel him, and that is why his strength feels different. It's not explosive, it's steady, unyielding, reliable. When things fall apart, Zoro stands. When hope wavers, Zoro endures. He doesn't inspire through speeches, he inspires through presence. Zoro teaches us something rare, that silence can be strength, that loyalty doesn't need applause, and that carrying pain quietly doesn't mean you're alone. It means you've chosen to protect others from it. Zoro doesn't carry his pain because he has to, he carries it because he chooses to, and in that choice, he becomes unbreakable.